Any second now, we're going to be coming in. We're going to hear the good news from Jim Bell, our producer and engineer at Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com. So just hang in there, and Jimmy will give us the go. In the meantime, we want to remind you to check out our Facebook page for What's the Story with Maria. Check out our Instagram. Thank you, Jimmy. Check out our Instagram page. Hey, everybody. It's Maria from What's the Story with Maria. How's it going? Welcome to our show. Tonight is Tuesday, May 11th, 2021. And we are here in broadcasting from New York City. My sidekick, Leo Rodriguez, is in California. Jim Bell, our producer and engineer, is manning the ship from Salem, New Hampshire. So thank you, Jimmy, for all that you do. We appreciate you. Eudania Mesa has checked in. Hi, honey. Ed Kutu from Blade Salon in Rocky Hill, Connecticut. Annette Zito coming in, Annette. Annette Zito of Kitsch Annette. She was on the show a few weeks ago. What a great show that was, Annette. Thank you for doing that. We always have so much fun when Annette comes on the show. One of the first things I want to do now that we have time is I want to shout out to one of our friends, Terry Ross, because she is not just a great jewelry maker and designer. She is also an amazing artist. And I had this commissioned for Judy this week, and it a couple weeks ago I had a commission, but Terry finished it. This is a picture of Judy's dog. Look at how amazing this is. And if you know, her name is London. If you know London, this is the spitting image of her. So I wanted to put a shout out to Terry Ross, our friend. And if you want to commission something, you want to have her do a portrait of your dog, or she does people too, but I mean, the dogs are just incredible. And she does a lot of musicians, a lot of jazz musicians. So I thought that would be appropriate since we are in a kind of jazz show tonight. So TerryRossJewelry.com. Tell her Maria sent you from What's the Story with Maria, and get yourself a beautiful portrait. I am crazy about this. And Judy is going to put it on her wall and keep it forever, I'm sure. So we want to remind you again, as we said, What's the Story with Maria has an Instagram page. Please go and follow us. We have a Facebook page. Please go and like our Facebook page. Now, Leo Rodriguez, our trusty accidental stage manager. Look at him with that. That's very David Lynch with all your stripes.
My stripes?
Yeah. And
I start speaking backwards?
Anything can happen, Leo. And you are in California. I think that's where all that stuff happens.
Computer gods, no, we don't want any talking, no feedback, no talking.
None of that. No, we're good. We're good. We're going to be great tonight. Jared Felipe has joined us. Isn't that portrait amazing? Jared, you should have a portrait done of Gretchen. Jared has a really cute dog named Gretchen. Jared was on the show last week. We had so much fun. And then I watched Jared's Life in Plastic on YouTube this weekend. It was his birthday show, and I enjoyed it immensely. Rena Crignali-Bergi.
Hi, Rena.
There she is in Massachusetts, who is also Leo's friend. She is our family project manager. She has joined us. It's not the same unless you're here, Rena. I just want you to know. I saw Rena for Mother's Day. I saw Rena, Marisa, my sister, my high school friends. I went to 2 different high schools because we moved in the middle of high school. I saw both sets of friends. I just had the most wonderful weekend. Kenny Holcomb has joined us.
Isn't Rena our weather girl? I mean, I think she's been slack-a-lacking.
Well, we haven't really asked her to call in with the weather, but maybe in the future, since spring has sprung, we'll have Rena do a little weather report and maybe talk about what's out in the garden this season. In the meantime, there is so much. Oh, Richard Skipper has joined us. The amazing Richard Skipper of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Also a friend of Leo Rodriguez's. So we got so many nice people that have joined us already that are friends of our show and friends in our life. Mario Davila. Hello, Mario. Got to get a portrait of Henry. Yes, Mario. Is that amazing? Mario has a really cute dog named Henry. I mean, I was blown away. I sent her a picture and I did not expect it to be that lifelike, and it's the spitting image of what I sent her. So if you have a pet that you want painted, please reach out to TerryRossJewelry.com and it was incredibly reasonable. And Terry is just an outstanding artist. So get it done. It's a beautiful gift or just something you want for yourself. So
Mario Davila is a great actor, isn't he? He was in that commercial about that sauce.
Oh, Mario Davila.
Yes. Yeah, with the face on it.
Yes. Well, Mario is, Mario can sell snow to an Eskimo, as they say. Let me check in also because I have my phone running as well. Lynn Portis is watching. Erin Cherry. Hi, Erin Cherry. How are you? Lynn Portis, genius, has checked in. Michael Klein, Chris Thomas, Vincent. Hi, Chris. We love you. Where would we be without Chris DiPiero? John Pandish has joined us. Christina Zizza from Massachusetts. Frank Skillern. Kathleen Gregorio. Hi, honey. How are you? And I see you and Jerry. You're in Key West looking all sexy. So anyway, love to Jerry. That's her super sweet husband. Okay.
Rena sent in her report.
Oh, Rena. Yes, spring has sprung. That's my report for tonight, Leo. Leo,
there it is.
Very, you are on the ball asking the right questions. Can sell snow to an Eskimo. It's true. All right. We have so much to cover tonight. So I want to start as soon as we can. Our two guests are electrifying, musical, mind-blowing
powerhouses.
Yeah. So, let me see who else is, someone else has checked in. Janet Betta has checked in from Connecticut. Gail Stanitzi has joined in as well. I like to call people out because when our fans check in and our friends, it makes my day. Thank you for watching, everybody. Okay, I don't want to waste too much time. I met this young lady, I'm going to say about 25 years ago. I met her. We had mutual friends, and she was super quiet and very sweet. And then I went to hear her play. She is a band leader. She is a drummer beyond drummers. It's like she's a rhythm doctor, baby. And she is the band leader of Diva Jazz Orchestra and many other. She's incredible. And I'll have her tell us so much of what she has to say. But please put your hands together virtually and at home. I want you to actually really clap at home. Sherrie Maricle. Bring her on, Leo.
Oh, man. Hey, Leo.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, you guys. Quiet and sweet. Who are you talking about?
Well, let me tell you, Sherrie, when I first met you, you were very quiet and sweet. And I said to myself, when I saw you play, oh, my God, I have never stopped being in awe of your playing ever, and your band leading and your the way that you educate the audience, and also you are an educator. There's so much to cover. So let's start. I mean, I know you have so many different groups that you're with, but let's start with where you are right now.
Okay. I'm in long story, but briefly, I lived in New York since 1985. And I met my partner, Susan, after we got married. We moved to the Philadelphia area, and we decided to move out of the city right as the pandemic hit. So literally the day I lost all of my gigs was the day we moved about 20 miles west.
Oh,
and we bought this super cool dairy barn from the 1860s. And I call it the Jazz Barn, and I'm sitting in it right now. So it's a really unique, interesting space that we're going to open up as a performance space like we had it in our house in Philadelphia. So eventually, everyone, this will be open for swinging and grooving.
It's amazing. It's amazing. And I saw a picture of it on your Facebook page, and I thought, is that her home? I couldn't believe it because it's a theater. You've turned it into a performance space.
Yeah, and working on it still because the day we moved too, I broke my left foot in 3 places.
Oh, come on, really?
So it was one of those weird things for a drummer. It's like, oh, good, I can't play anymore. Thank God I don't have any gigs. What? It's like a very horrible, like a collision of all things that could go wrong. But
you know what? It's funny that talk about perfect timing in a weird way.
Very weird, yeah.
Yeah. And that happened to a lot of us in different ways, but that's really mind blowing. I can't imagine you not playing. Like, that's how I know you.
I played, but just without my left leg.
Oh, you continued to play.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very inspiring time, I think, for all musicians. If because we had free time, so what better to do than practice?
Absolutely, I agree with you. Actually, I wrote 2 songs during the pandemic. I'll send them to you, Sherrie, because I think you'll enjoy them.
Well, everybody watching, I of course had the privilege and pleasure to record with Maria on some of her CDs, and "Pieces of Me" remains one of my favorite songs ever. Love that song.
Thank you, absolutely. And Sherrie and another member of the Diva Jazz Orchestra, Jamie Dauber, played on something I'm most proud of. It's called Amputated Skyline, and it was a tribute that I wrote to the first responders for 9/11. And Sherrie played the drums on that. Jamie Dauber played the trumpet, but also on a lot of my stuff. Sherrie has played on a lot of my music. So I am so honored that is recorded forever in time. Thank you so much. And also we worked on a song. Sherrie was teaching at the Ronald McDonald House in New York and asked me if I would write a song for them. And she sent me, that was so fun. She sent me this bass line that this young man had written. And she said, "What can you do with this?" And we came up with this entire song, and it was amazing. And Sherrie produced the song with the kids from the Ronald McDonald House and all these amazing musicians. And that is on iTunes. It's called "I Will Always Be There."
Yep. And I think we actually didn't we play that with the New York Pops at Carnegie Hall? I think for one of the Pops galas, maybe.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did. Thank you for reminding me.
It was a big deal. Yeah.
It was a really big deal. And the kids were singing on stage. It was just incredible. And so if you want to go and buy that, 100% of the proceeds go to the Ronald McDonald House. It's called "I Will Always Be There." And you can hear me and Sherrie and a million amazing kids and their parents. Beautiful.
Yeah. And it was written from the perspective of a sibling of a child who had cancer. So it's a very, very heartwarming, beautiful, beautiful song, Maria. Yeah.
Sherrie she said, "Why don't you come and meet the boys?" And I met the brother, the child that was that did have cancer, and his brother.
Oh, yeah.
Here it is.
There it is.
Leo, and his brother. And I spoke with both of them, and I realized that they were both worried about each other. And so I wrote it from that. Thanks, Leo.
Yeah.
All right, let's forge ahead. And we have so much to cover. Oh, my God. So, Sherrie, the Jazz Barn, hopefully. I mean, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get there. Now, I've been seeing a lot of stuff with the 3D Jazz Trio.
Mm-hmm.
And I follow you ladies, and I'm just like, oh, my God, it's just another dimension. So how did you meet these girls? Did you work with them before?
Yeah, this is a great question. I've been playing drums and have been recently the music director for Maurice Hines, who some people may know. Hopefully, great entertainer, tap dancer. His younger brother was Gregory Hines, and Maurice spent a lot of time on Broadway and in some different film. And anyway, so I've been working with him since 1990, and he had a biographical show called Tappin' Through Life that we did a whole from 2012 through 2017 regional theater tour. Coast to coast and lots of places in between. And Amy, the bass player, Amy Shook, was traveling. It started with a show in DC, and we were heading to Cleveland, and I needed a pianist, and everyone in the universe said, "You got to call this woman Jackie Warren, call Jackie Warren." So I called Jackie, and within a few notes of us playing together, the 3 of us fell in love with each other and just decided that we're going to keep playing. So we have.
I can see why. I mean, it's just mind blowing how good it is. I can't stress enough. Leo, can you put that link up for the 3D Jazz Trio? Because I really want people to follow. Just go and check it out, and you're going to be totally hooked. So it's 3divasjazztrio.com. You must check that out.
And it's we're swinging. We all love the Great American Songbook and swinging standards. And the pianist Jackie's an expert in Cuban music, and it's just a really, really great marriage of like-minded musical people.
Yeah, and there's just nothing like it when you click with people musically. You can't describe how incredible it is. Lynn Portis, who's my musical director and one of my best friends. Lynn, you must go and check that out. It's gonna blow your mind because she's a jazz girl too. So are you traveling with them at all now, or is I know some of the COVID restrictions have been lifted, and I noticed you had a few gigs coming up. Is there anything you can tell us about?
Yeah, we did. We actually, our first couple of gigs in front of a live audience was this past weekend. We did one in Toledo, and we did one in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at a wonderful room called the Blue Llama. So that was great. Sold out, packed,
Wow.
socially distanced, but it was very exciting and emotional to be
Yes.
in front of an audience. So yeah, actually we have, in June, we have a couple of great performances with one of the tap dancers we worked with in Maurice Hines' show, and his name is John Manzari. And we're doing the Deerhead Inn, which is the country's oldest jazz club in the Delaware Water Gap, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
On June 5th. So we'll be there on June 5th. And the night before that, we will be doing a live stream from a great studio in Baltimore called Blue House Productions. So we'll be doing that with John, and everyone can tune into that. It's, pay what you want, watch all the music for free. And the Blue House Productions is a wonderful, like eight camera shoot. It's really, really high end.
Blue House Productions. And what's the date on that?
June 4th. I think I sent it to you, and I think because we have a few other gigs that week too, and in person, and I'm excited about that, as we all are.
Oh my God, yes.
Feeling a level of comfort, from all of us having our second vaccinations and feeling a little safer
and people, because I'm working back at the clubs myself, and I cannot tell you. I mean, the feeling, but to our studio audience, our radio listeners, the people in the audience are so grateful for live music, and their energy is so connected. They're so connected to us. It's just, I'm so grateful. Like you said it too, it's very emotional.
It is. And they're like the sports, what do they call it? The 12th man or something. But in music, I guess if there's such a thing, we're so different with our audiences. When the audience is there, different level of energy.
Yeah, because you can, it's fine to play at home. And thank God for all these virtual concerts. I've been very grateful for them. But you can't hear people laugh, clap, respond. You don't see them moving to it. It's kind of weird, like I said, I'm so grateful for it, but it's so nice live. So let me just check in. Jean Simpson Dunn, she is in the Illinois. She has checked in. Okay, she said, if you ever get to East Central Illinois, I have a perfect venue. Jean, yes, Jean is the artistic director of a beautiful theater out there. Jean, you should definitely get in touch with Sherrie. You ladies would love each other. Jean is amazing.
Be there.
Yeah.
And we have with the large group, which is a 15-piece band, the Diva Jazz Orchestra, we have had the pleasure of working with many amazing and fabulous singers throughout our career, which Maria being one of them. But
what an honor.
From Nancy Wilson to Joe Williams to Marlena Shaw. I mean, we have been that's one of the great joys too.
I saw the Marlena Shaw show. That was, I went to see you. I've seen you many, many, many times. And Dizzy's Coca-Cola Club, right? Mm-hmm. And also in Boston. What is the one in Boston that I took?
Scullers.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yes, I just went blank. I was like, oh, what was it? Because I know there's a few different ones that took my dad for, I think, Father's Day. He was so happy. And it was just amazing. Yeah, okay. The Diva Jazz Orchestra. I am a huge fan. This is how many pieces? 15, Sherrie?
Yeah, 15. And in March, we celebrated our 28th anniversary of our first gig, and have been one of the blessed groups to quite literally tour all around the world. And we were so excited. We were going to Brazil for the first time right before the pandemic hit with Nina Freelon. So we're looking forward to all of our gigs that went away to come back, and knock on wood, we like to say, swinging it forward again.
Yes.
As soon as possible.
I love that. Now, one of the things that is fascinating about the Diva Jazz Orchestra is that the musicians are from all over the world, right? Yeah.
When we first started, we were almost like another modern version of the International Sweethearts of Rhythm, which was a very famous all-woman, actually girls, young high school aged kids that first started at the Pineywood School in Mississippi, that went on to critical and popular acclaim during World War II, and they did a lot of USO tours. So anyway, when we formed Diva, 40 women came, and literally, like you said, from all over the world. So we've had women from certainly Japan and Australia and Austria and Israel and Germany, and like it's great. And jazz, it was like a magnet when we first started. Back in 1992 is when we had our first audition, and It just like women, and it was started by a great guy named Stanley Kay, who used to manage the Buddy Rich Band.
Yes.
So his seriousness of, mission and wanting to give women this opportunity to play in high-end big bands, because he lived in New York his whole life and he never saw any women doing it. So he's like, what's going on? Let's fix this. So
God bless Stanley Kay. Seriously.
Yeah. It's called like a league of their own, so to speak, but jazz version.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
And he also wrote a beautiful piece that's on one of your albums, right?
Yeah, he wrote quite a few pieces of music for us. Yeah,
and he's really, really good. So let's talk about the albums. So I highly, highly recommend, folks. I'm not just saying this because Sherrie's my friend or because she's on the show. I'm saying this because I'm a giant fan of Diva and 3 Divas Jazz. But how do people get the album so they can or stream your music? Tell us.
Well, a lot of it's right on our website under I think it says, what does it say? Merchandise, probably. Oh yeah, there we go. From the shop. Yep. So you'll see all 3 of my bands are on there. And we have a quintet also called 5 Play. That's part of Diva.
Play, right. I think I have 2 of those albums.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them on there. And then there's some special projects. We recorded for Telarc with Ann Hampton Calloway, a CD called Blues in the Night. I don't think that one's on here, but there's a few other ones. And some of them you have to buy at Amazon, like the recording we did with the great Johnny Mandel. That's a live recording from Dizzy's Club. And I think that's only available. Well, if you click on the link, it'll say available on Amazon or wherever it's available. Yeah.
I really recommend that you do that. I for my dad, as a matter of fact, for father, I'm going to go and look, give it another look before Father's Day, because that would be it's his favorite thing that I ever give him. When I give him jazz CDs, he loves it. So I'm going to look and see what's new that I haven't, that I don't have, or what I just to add to the collection.
I mean, one of the my favorite, I just saw you scroll by. One of the first live recording we did from Jazz at Lincoln Center is the one that's got me on the cover, and it features Carmen Bradford. It's called Live from Jazz at Lincoln Center, Dizzy's Club. And something about that recording with Carmen Bradford singing, we were doing some bassy charts of hers and Frank Foster arrangements. And there's one, Drink Muddy Water. It's an old blues. And yes. Man, she just sings. So the swing could not get any hotter and greasier. And every time I see that cover, I just think of her immediately and how fun that gig was. Nothing like recording live too. I would record live anytime versus a studio.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. I agree. It's just, and the fact that it's captured in that one take. Yeah. It's just, there's something so, it's so spiritual and electric, and just like, you're like, wow.
Yeah. Even if it's not perfect, who cares? It's live music. They're all my favorite records when I was listening are all the live ones, surpass the studio ones for me.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. And you can pick up the energy of the audience as well. And I think that's amazing. So, okay, now, so you are working on so many projects, and, so you're going to continue to do these live shows across the country as it permits, which most places are starting to open up now.
Yep.
Noticing, like even in New York, they're starting to open up, and it's been incredible. And we're all so happy to be back working. And how's your foot? Has it healed?
Yeah, it's really healed. But it's my hi-hat foot is I use it quite a bit. I pound very hard with it, but it doesn't feel like it used to. It feels a little different, but it's totally fine.
Okay. All right. So just amazing. Now, my next guest that I'm going to pop on, you at some point must meet. You and Mia would be such great friends and musical, just a great musical connection. She's a mind-blowing good singer. And she has some great swing to her as well. So, Sherrie, I don't know if you have to go, but if you can stick, we'll put you backstage. We'll bring Mia on. If you can stick around, then we'll bring you back on in about 10 or 15 minutes. Do you have time to do that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep.
Excellent. And then we can talk about more things that come up.
Okay.
I am so grateful you're here. Yes, Leo?
Well, Mia hasn't popped on yet.
Oh.
Maybe you mentioned the drummer school, and
thank you, because I wrote that down.
And I'm going to go wait for Mia.
Okay, and you all right, and you let me know when Mia. Great.
Okay.
Thank you for reminding me. So, Sherrie, I was looking on your page, And
Mhm.
I'm so excited about the drum school. This is for young people, 12 to 21.
Yeah, a 12 to 22. Actually,
Okay.
a woman named Sheila Klotz who won something called Hit Like a Girl. It's like a competition for young girls all the way up to any age. And there's different age categories. And Sheila won, I think last year, one of the categories. And she and I met on a website talking about drums. And she started this camp, and she asked me to come teach the jazz component of it. So yeah, I
And
was really excited.
where is the camp?
In South Maryland. There's a
Oh.
website. There's a Gmail email address on there for someone to write to for questions, because I think it just changed locations. But that's going to be something, a drum set camp. What could be a drummer's fantasy?
Oh my God, it sounds amazing.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I forgot to mention this to you, but I'm really excited too, because right as the pandemic hit, I had just commissioned 10 brand new charts to do our next live recording at Dizzy's Club called Diva Swings Broadway. So we had reimagined versions of all these Broadway classics, from, Sound of Music to Oh, What a Beautiful Morning, and like just tons of great stuff. And then it got canceled in March 2020. It got canceled in March 2021. But we're definitely going to do it in 22. If we don't do it in the studio before our next March's Dizzy's run, everybody can look out for that coming as soon as possible. Diva Swings Broadway.
I can't wait. I'll be there. I will be there. If I'm not working or out of town, I will be there. I love the live shows, because it's one thing I love, of course, listening to your albums or online. But when I'm in the audience of one of your performances, I literally feel like there's wind coming from the stage.
That's awesome. Thank you. Hopefully the energy translates.
Yeah, and it just blows right through you. It's like it's electrifying.
I think that's one of the fun things about a big band. If people aren't familiar or haven't heard one in a while, that's one of the great things of having 15 acoustic instruments. Just push. It's the big push and power and passion and inspired. Playing by a bunch of great musicians who love the music.
Yeah, and they're women. It's really great. I've called this show Girls Night Out tonight.
All right, good. Yeah.
So, because this does go into podcast, and we're on the radio live now at Armed Radio, armeddigitalmedia.com, armedradioglobal.com for our radio listeners. And we do happen to live, Facebook Live it on StreamYard, which is great. But it goes into podcasts and Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio after this. And it is forever archived. So that's the good news about that. Now,
Fantastic.
Another thing I noticed about your the girls in Diva, and I probably 3D, is that they all have album, or many of them have albums as well, right?
Yeah. When Diva did our 25th anniversary project, I commissioned 10 of the band members to write music, all original music. That's the way I thought it'd be really, because when there's 15 people and 14 of them are amazing composers and band leaders and soloists, and on Broadway, and some of them are actually members of the premier military bands in DC. Like, everyone has a lot of different careers, like all of us in freelance musicians. We do a lot of different stuff, but to have that on the stage, and I sometimes look over in awe and just say, "Wow, I can't believe I get to share the stage with you, amazing musicians, just gifted on multiple levels." But to write, compose is one thing, but then to arrange and orchestrate for a big band is another mad skill. And all of these women do so many different things so extremely well.
Yes, and it's true. We're used to working that way, where we have a lot of different gigs. That is true. Now, I'm just checking, because a lot of people are asking questions. Okay, so hold on one second. Jean Simpson Dunn says that she is officially stalking 3D right now as we speak.
Yay! I love stalkers.
Yes, and she says
ones.
She has connections there in Illinois, so that's really great. Oh, okay. And Richard Skipper says, I'm such a fan of Sherrie's.
Richard Skipper, hi.
Isn't he the best? Richard Skipper is amazing.
Well, I met him in a funny thing. I was looking for an all-woman band to play his birthday, and he wanted everybody to be Aquarians, right, Richard? If you can hear me. And,
right. Yes, because he's an Aquarian.
But I got to slip my way in there because we couldn't find an Aquarian drummer, so I ended up a Virgo.
All right.
Mixing with the Aquarians. It was fun.
But I got to tell you, actually, Aquarians and Virgos, that's not such a bad match. That's an intellectual match for sure.
But that was a really fun gig. So high-spirited and full of humor and great music. It was great.
And he says you haven't performed until you've appeared with Sherrie. I agree. So Terry Ross popped on. Terry, I was talking about your beautiful painting, and I showed it to everybody, which I will show again at the end of the show. Leo, what's our status with Mia? Is she close by?
The Mia has landed.
Mia has landed. Okay.
All right.
So Sherrie, yay!
Hi, Mia.
Mia Gentili, and no, that we know of, no relation.
Not that we know, but we're both Sicilian, right?
Well, I'm Avellanese, which is a slightly more, it's central, South Central, but Sicilian that's as central as you can get there. Yeah.
Well,
So
I say Mia Gentile, but I love that you say Gentili because my grandma, Anna Camarata, my dad's mom, married Joseph Gentili, and she would say Gentile. She was Sicilian as well, and my grandpa Joseph Gentile immigrated when he was a boy from Sicily.
isn't that amazing? So first off, I want to introduce you two because you should know each other. Sherrie Maricle, this is Mia Gentili.
Hi, Mia.
Gentili, Sherrie Maricle. And, talking about your Broadway swinging, Mia was in Kinky Boots, and she is an amazing Broadway
Awesome.
diva. So she's a good person to know. You're good people to know with each other. So Sherrie, don't go too far. We're going to bring you back in.
What can I say before Sherrie goes? I've been tuning in, and Sherrie, you are just the ultimate badass.
Right?
First of all, jazz was my first love musically. I was in jazz band, tenor sax, and my secret is to be a drummer. And when I was in Kinky Boots, our drummer, who's Cyndi Lauper's drummer, gave me these Vic Firth sponsored Sammy Marandino sticks and a practice pad.
All right.
Yeah, and also I sang at the Deerhead Inn in the Pocono, up in Pennsylvania. So I had a blast singing there. It was such you're just so steeped in history,
That's so cool. You multi-layered, talented diva, you.
I'm telling you.
Jazz is
Fantastic.
a sweet spot of mine. I sang jazz in Cincinnati at Schwartz's Point with Ed Moss a lot when I was at school there at the conservatory. So, yeah, no, I'm just everything you do is way up my alley. I think the both of you, Maria and Sherrie, are just revolutionary women in music.
Well, I'm looking forward to getting together in person.
Yes, no, absolutely. This is a great connection. One of the reasons that I called you, because I had Sherrie booked for a few weeks now, but I was like, Mia has got to meet Sherrie, and Sherrie's got to meet Mia. And Mia has a great show coming up. So I do want to talk about a bunch of Mia stuff. So Sherrie, we'll pull you back in, I promise.
All right. See you soon.
Okay, my honey. Leo, what do you got there that you're showing us? Leo Rodriguez?
Oh, he pulled it up. The Deerhead
Yes.
Inn.
Oh my God, Leo, you're incredible.
So let me get to work.
Leo for the recon, like for the win, doing the research.
Oh, let me tell you, Leo is. I sometimes I just will send him notes and say the man behind the curtain because he's just mind blowing. I don't know where he finds half of this stuff. Look at that, he's got you at the deal.
These are
Start spreading. I'm leaving today.
but there's
I want to
there's an Gerald tribute.
get on New York.
So
Go
that's
ahead.
Odes on piano, on the keys. Brilliant keyboard piano player. That was through Stephen DeAngelis.
Wow. Now, oh my God, there's so much to talk about. So let's start with your gig. Let's start with your gig coming up. Okay, let's promo that.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. I saw the bitter end. I was like, wow, that's it. The bitter end is you've made it. Go ahead.
Well, it's actually through my dear friend who plays bass for many different arenas, including Broadway. I'm trying to center myself.
No, it's fine.
Anyways, Mike Visceglia. I don't know if you would say Visceglia, a fellow Italian musician. He's a bass player and he plays there all the time. And so he basically has a strong connection with the bitter end, and I'm basically kicking off this Broadway series.
Wonderful.
So they're having, because until Broadway comes back, which now we have some news of actual start dates end this eternal Broadway pause, they want to have
Yeah.
singers featured at the bitter end. But the gig is going to be just a set about an hour long, and it's a 4-piece band, incredible band, and with Mike on bass and music directing, and John Putnam, who also played guitar at Kinky Boots. I really bonded with the two of them when I was doing the show with them, and it's going to be some musical theater stuff. But if I'm going to play with live musicians, my sweet spot is going to be in other realms like jazz. I do sing it kind of like a B-side standard in the set, and soul, rock, R&B.
Yeah. Now you did something, I want to say right before the pandemic hit, or right at the beginning of it, where you were outside. It was a huge stadium. Was it in Seattle? What was that giant?
Oh yeah.
I love that. That was so great.
Oh my gosh, you really like pay attention, you know.
Of course I pay attention to the things I love.
Oh, that's
I'm
very
not so great with other stuff. but I remember seeing you and being like, oh my God, she's like really knocking this out of the park.
That was like a wild card opportunity through a dear friend of mine, Katie Foffel, who I took voice from. And I'm now very involved in the nonprofit that she co-founded. But she also kind of, whatever she has her hands in, I'm in, you know. So
Yeah.
the demo for this. What this was the ribbon cutting ceremony for the opening of the Chase Center in San Francisco. And it was to celebrate like the Golden State Warriors. And it was all these different, it was this completely original, basically like long, it was kind of like a closing ceremonies. Like there were fireworks. I was in a golden gown.
Yes.
In this like original kind of war cry gospel song. They originally wanted Katy Perry for it, but
Well, you're so much better than Katy Perry.
Demo. She'll be cheaper. So anyways, yeah, I got to sing over this incredible choir, about 60 singers, with ridiculous musicians from the California area, Bay Area. And yeah, there was a sear wheel, there were gymnasts. It was insane.
It really was. I loved it. I just thought it was great. I watched it over and over. I was so proud of you. Yeah. Just
and
really.
Josh Boback is actually another dear friend of mine, and he and Katie have a studio together. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this correctly. Lila, it's like Lilaa Studios. So Josh was a Broadway guy. Katie's a Broadway woman.
So let's go. Speaking of Broadway, let's go back, and because I, of course, know you, and I know that you know, I know how amazing you are. But tell us about Kinky Boots. How long ago was that? And you know, was that what introduced you to all these amazing people? But in the meantime, you've done a lot of other stuff as well. I mean, you were a jazz person before Kinky Boots.
Yeah.
So tell us about that.
You're the best, Maria. I feel
I'm serious.
Similar in that, you know, our love of music sort of spans, like, of course, musical theater is this incredible sweet spot of acting and storytelling within music, but like you and I both sing everything, you know. And so yes, so Kinky Boots, yeah, my love of music started with, actually I was a worship leader in a gospel choir in Baptist churches in high school, and then sang in jazz band after I played in jazz band. And so yeah, it's kind of, music got me into theater, like singing, and then theater kind of stole my heart. So I went to school.
Yeah.
It's happened. I was in it for almost 5 years, which was just the greatest blessing in the world. Like this home, you know, the Alf Hirschfeld Theater was my home, and family was a tight knit one.
Yeah, absolutely. And theater families, you always have that. It's like your cells freeze or something. And no matter where you go, you have that family. It's like,
I love that your cells freeze.
It's like they freeze in that position, and you're like,
it's like locked in.
Yeah, you can't forget it. You just can't forget it.
Well, and the women in the ensemble with me, we call each other the Slaggies, because it was set in Northampton, England, and we say it lovingly, you know.
Yeah.
We text each other in a text thread all the time. We always have these reunions on a lobster boat, you know, the ones by the Circle Line. Like, so we're still like fit as a fiddle, because we day in and day out for years together.
I know. Now, I don't want to. Sherrie says, Mia, do you know Janelle Reichman saxophone? So,
I don't.
okay.
But any female drummer, horn player, bassist is a person I want to know.
Okay.
I think
right.
needs more female musicians that are just.
Yeah, and you must go and see the Diva Jazz Orchestra because it's 15 women playing live. It's getting mind blowing. Okay, so I just want to make sure I promo everything you got going on. And the Broadway for the artsed.com.
Okay, so Broadway for Arts Education. So that's actually Katie Foffel and Ben Houghton. It's an organization that I've been a part of since the beginning, but now really ramping up my involvement. Oh, yay, look at that. Yes.
Leo, there he is.
Broadway for Arts Education Bay. So we actually partner with other organizations to provide arts education to underserved youth all over the world. So
wow.
Portion, and there are programs that we partner with. There's one in India, the Shanti Bhavan School, and we've really watched those young people grow up. Some of them are now pursuing music, and they were in like the lowest caste system, untouchables. The girls may have been killed. The boys would never get any kind of education, and now they're in these programs that are allowing them to break free of that. And so that's the school in India. There's one in Haiti. There's one in the Galah.
Wow.
And then we also partner with Urban Assembly here in New York and a number of programs in New York. So we're actually in the middle of our LIDO campaign, which stands for Live in the Orange. And orange represents like pushing this, like red is stop, green is go. So orange is like being out of your comfort zone, being creative, expressive, really, really like, daring greatly, being in the arena. So I host these incredible art shares with the youth of Urban Assembly, and they write their own material and they share it. So I'll share stuff I'm working on, whether it's a song or a poem, and people share artwork. They're in music production courses. I mean, honestly, like I want them to teach me.
But you know what you just said, we are always teaching each other. Real, true artists, it doesn't matter what the age is, what the experience is. If we're living authentically, artistically, we are exchanging energy all the time. And that's what I love about being around other artists. It's so stimulating because there's no way to be bored. If you're bored, you're not open.
Yes.
Or you're in your ego. If you're bored listening to another artist, you are in your ego.
Yes. I think what's been really important for me as an artist, and again, like I sometimes feel stifled by how my artistic curiosities pull me in all different directions. Like we're trying to talk about Broadway, and here I am being like, well, I'm also in this band and I want to write music, and I
love that though.
I'm going to do a Shakespeare show, and I do visual art, and, I want to learn all these instruments. It's like, and I want to do comedy. Like, it's just all of these. So yeah, I find that that artists are curious. And if we allow ourselves to really sidestep the ego, because it's hard, we don't want to be bad at stuff. And to be an artist is to be deeply courageous, to put any bit of work out there that is from your heart, is deeply courageous. So, I
know. Right. Deeply courageous, but you have to walk. It feels like a tightrope, but it really, there's always a net. And people that are like, I heard once, and I think you've heard the same saying, the people that judge don't matter, and the people that matter don't judge.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard this.
Yeah. And I love the one, what other people think of me is none of my business.
My business. I love that. Don't go too far, because I want to bring Sherrie back on because I can't believe this hour has flown. It's already, we only have 10 minutes left, but Sherrie, so I'm telling you, you're going to know people. You're going to know some of the same people for sure. Don't go too far. We have to do the food section of our show. I always have a food section. When people are in my studio, I feed them. Mia was in the studio. You and Mark Hartman, remember that was such a fun show.
Oh, and that food was delicious. It really felt like being home.
Oh, honey, I'm so glad. And once things get better, which they are now, then you can come over again. I'll make you lunch.
I'm fully.
Sherrie, if you're in town, let me know. Okay, so what did I make tonight? The food section of our show is called Go Ahead, Keep Eating.
Keep eating.
So we have to do that on the count of 3. We have to say, go ahead, keep eating. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead. Keep
eating.
Okay, what did I do? What did I make tonight? I made like a Middle Eastern chicken. So I marinated it with shawarma spices, cumin, paprika, some sherry, because sherry wine I used, onions, peppers, and peas. And I put it over yellow rice with there's some lentils in here as well. So I went for kind of a Middle Eastern feel tonight. Yeah, I was feeling that. I was feeling that kind of a vibe. And then because I am Italian, as is Mia, and everyone loves Italian anything. So this is romaine lettuce with mozzarella, black olives, and vine ripe tomatoes, and a little bit of oregano. Oof. I'm going to go classic red wine vinegar and extra virgin olive oil with that. So is that
say mozzarella again. Say mozzarella again.
Mozzarella.
Yeah, mozzarella.
Leo is so cute. You girls have to really get to know Leo. He's one of the most beautiful human beings ever. He's just the sweetest. And he's a great cook. But every time he cooks, I go, Leo, show us our food. And he's already eaten it. Although he'll show me before the show. He's like, look what I made. I'm like, Leo, save that. We'll show the food. And then he's eating it. And what's for dessert? I'm the only one eating it. I'm sorry to even do this, but it's triple chocolate cake. Look at that.
Oh, you made that?
No, I did. I'm not a dessert. I'm a great cook, but I don't make dessert. So I bought this. I bought this at the supermarket.
That looks delish.
Yeah. You know why I'm not a good baker? Because you have to follow directions, and I'm terrible at it. I'm a classic improver.
Book because I love directions. I'm a Hermione Granger. I'm like, tell me exactly what to do and how to do it, and I'll do it. You know,
really?
I don't have that. You know, my roommate and my mom, like, are very like, their art form, like one of their art forms is cooking, and they really trust their sensibilities with flavor profiles, and I'm more like just I want to do it right. You know,
yeah. Well, that's a baker. Anybody that makes dessert has to do that. It's like, you know, you have to. It's like being a doctor. You can't just say, I don't want to operate that way. Let me just try something else. You can't.
I like to improvise.
Oh yeah, well, exactly.
Improvise. Yeah.
I learned moving up 5,000 feet above the sea changed all my baking habits, so I had to relearn certain things because of altitude and.
Really? Yeah, Leo lives in Idlewild, California.
Oh wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
If you guys ever come out to Palm Springs, hopefully we'll have a cabaret series up here soon, and we have an amphitheater that we're looking for. You know, wonderful. So,
listen, I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put this out there because I feel like so much of what we knew has shifted, and I've been thinking a lot about this. Rather than being sad about it, I'm feeling like there's a whole new world out there.
It's a renaissance.
Yes, is starting back up for artists. And we are about to embark on something so mind-blowing that we're going to look back and say, I had no idea what was about to happen to my life. And I think we're really just coming up on the hill, and it's going to be just mind-blowing, you know? So
Roaring 20s are back.
Yes, they are.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. I think we're on the precipice. Like, we're on the leading edge of something that in our lifetimes has never happened before. We've all had to detox from distractions. We've all had to adapt and be light on our feet. We've all had to deal with grief. We've all had to turn inward. We've all had to slow down. And people are rethinking the way things were. I'm sure people who work 9 to 5 in an office are like, oh, well, I could do part of this from home and things can be more flexible. And now we know another way.
Right. Now, I want to ask, go ahead, Leo, you were going to say something?
I was going to say people in restaurants are reconsidering what it's going to be to work in restaurants again.
Yeah. I mean, every job has been restructured, you know. Also, I think that clients are grateful. Like my sister is a hairdresser, and she said that her clients are so grateful for her now that they can come back. And every one of them has said, like, thank you for being open. And I think that is true in a lot of different fields, you know, because that's an art form in itself. And we get to appreciate other people. We only have about 4 minutes left to our show. So I want to throw this out to both of you. And, you know, whoever wants to go first. What is something that came of the pandemic artistically that you did not It doesn't have to be artistically, but something that came out of the pandemic that was a happy accident, something you did not expect. Who wants to go first? Sherrie, you want to go first?
Sure. Well, a couple of things, finding the sadness that the gigs got canceled, but then feeling like I was in college again, because I was like, the joy of practicing my instrument and really triggering and remembering why I wanted to do this to begin with, to really, it's almost like grassroots, going back to the beginning of like, why do I love the drum so much in jazz? That was one really awesome thing. And then the second thing actually was a shift in my priorities, sort of what Mia was just saying about people working in an office or whatever. I was like, I have shifted like in loving being home and being with my partner and my pets, and, you know, versus like, I got to be on the road 300 days a year. That's my goal. I can't wait to go. Now I'm like, maybe be more selective, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that sounds wonderful. What you just said sounds wonderful. The practice, all of it. And Mia, how about you, honey?
Well, I got a home recording studio. I got a good mic and an audio interface, and I basically finally prioritized the collaboration musically, that now we have a bit of a body of work released on all streaming platforms. This is my two-person band, Missy Fit, all caps, one word, with Roger Klug, who I met in Cincinnati. And we just dropped an EP of covers, but we have a full-length album of originals that we're working on, and an original single out. And yeah, we've been always doing that Postal Service long distance thing, kind of before the pandemic forced everyone to do it. But this allowed us to just, I mean, the gift of devastating unemployment for a year was the projects that I had put on ice for years.
Right.
And now we're discovering that this isn't like a band. This is an audiovisual collective. This is a universe. Like, we want to write a series. Like, there's bands within the bands. It's very meta. It's very weird. You could tune into us, Missy Fit, on all streaming platforms. And we have at Missy Fit Music on Instagram. And so it's very weird. When you check us out, you'll see the brand of irreverent and playful, yet reverent about music. He's like a Beatles expert, a rocker, a composer, multi-instrumentalist, sound engineer. So that's just been such a joy for me, is to actually carve time out, not on a Broadway schedule, not gigging on cruise ships, which I was doing after Kinky Boots with Postmodern Jukebox.
Right. That was the one I couldn't remember. Thank you. Postmodern Jukebox. And you did that for how long? Wow.
5 months on the high seas.
Wow. Yeah, and tell everybody what that is. That is, you take pop songs and you go ahead.
Yeah, so that was sort of like one of the gifts of YouTube back when like virality was this thing. Scott Bradley would take a pop song, like a pretty well-known modern pop song, and arrange it so that it sounds vintage. So it'd be like a big band, swing, jazz, Motown arrangement of like Toxic by Britney Spears, you know, so you're hearing it like it's in the 20s, but it's really a Madonna song, or, you know. And so we had two different shows that we did, one that was more vaudeville jazz, and like a lot of stride piano. We actually had a banjo, and that we had a 4-piece band as well, 3 singers, including me. And then there was a more like swinging 60s type flower powery Motown soul show. And it was just a blast.
Mia, did you sing I just heard recently the version of Happy. Did you sing on that one?
Oh,
I love that, because I love that song anyway, but I love that version of it. It was very cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I love that band.
Yeah. Very awesome.
Well, you know what? I hope that the people out there listening, I know a lot of people have been very frustrated because of gigs and because they're, like, I feel like the three of us are very high charged people. So we're very hopeful people, and we're doers. So we're gonna do. You're not gonna get in our way. Something's gonna get done creatively. But if you could tell, I always like to leave it with this. If you could just leave people with something of encouragement, other artists that are out there, or students, what's just like a quick something you would tell them? Sherrie?
I believe you will never fail if you follow your heart and your passion. And I mean that with all sincerity. And nothing is better than you. You're the only you in the world. So put your best thing out there. The best thing is the thing you love the most.
Wonderful. Thank you, honey. How about you, Mia?
That's really well said, Sherrie. I would
Mhm.
say the thing that has been my mantra during this pandemic is create for the sake of creating. So don't worry about where it's going to be. Don't worry about who's going to see it and what they're going to say. Whatever rings your bells and lights you up, just allow yourself to be a beginner. Give yourself a safe space to just play. Like I got my keyboard. I don't know if you could see it in my bedroom there. My keyboard out, my record player, my ukulele, and I just let myself noodle. And I don't worry about the product. You know, if I'm turning it over, you know, that's an artist way thing. Like creative intelligence takes care of the quality. I just show up and do it, and I enjoy it. I do it just for the sake of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I feel like we get to be kids for the rest of our lives, you know? When as artists, we get to be kids forever.
Mm.
And it's just a beautiful feeling. So anyway, I want to thank you both so very much. I want to thank Leo Rodriguez.
Leo.
He's amazing, our accidental stage manager. I want to thank Jim Bell. He's our producer and engineer at Armed Radio. I want to thank all the listeners out there. Remember that this show will be archived in podcasts in Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. So you can listen to it. The name of it's episode 196, and it's called Girls Night Out. And feel free to share the show on Facebook as much as you want. Thank you, Mia Gentili. Thank you, Sherrie Maricle. Thank you, Leah Rodriguez. Good night, everybody, and come back every Tuesday at 9.
Thank you.
Yay.
Bye.